Welcome, guys. Got a quick stream here for you, man. Take some time, let you guys get up in here, man, and then we'll get it rolling. And we're going to do the pregame here, man, via stream. I don't think I've done one of these via stream, so I figured I'll go ahead and do one today. I got a little bit of time here before my evening gets started, so I'll go ahead and do this as a stream. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds, man, to get in here, get a few people in here, and we'll get started. We're going to be real quick, man. We're going to give you an update in regards to James Harrison, as well as we'll talk a little bit about keys to victory, which, you know, the keys to victory really are not that important for this particular week, but we'll dive into it. I see we got 9 people viewing, so when we get to the double digit, you know, I'll wait a few seconds. If we get double digits, I'll go ahead and get started. If not, I'll start anyway. So first of all, how you guys doing, man? I hope you guys are having a great evening. You know, hope most of you guys will be experiencing a 3-day weekend, if you will. And there we are, guys. We got double digits in here. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start this thing over. Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Terrible Towel pregame. This is where I give my keys to victory in regards to the upcoming week. And this week is a little different, man. It's week 17 already, man. It's kind of hurting my heart, man, because we're almost done with football season. We're almost done, man. Regardless of what happens, you know, whether the Steelers win the Super Bowl or not, we're almost done. But hey, have no fear, man. Terrible Towel Tuesday will continue as long as I have, you guys' support. So, you know, we'll try to make it interesting while we wait for football to return. So let's get into it, man. First thing I want to talk about, man, James Harrison update. So by now, most of you guys may already know that James Harrison has issued a statement in regards to, you know, why he left Pittsburgh. Now, I wasn't going to do this, man, but I'm going to go ahead and read the whole thing to you. Let me see if I still have it here, guys. See if I still have it. Here we go. I have the full thing here. So for you guys who haven't heard it, let me read it to you. What's up, Tony? Hell to the black and gold. So let's go ahead and read this thing to you guys. So here it is, guys. James Harrison posted, "If anybody thought I signed a 2-year deal with the team in the NFL at the age of 39 to sit on the bench to collect a check and a participation trophy, they're mistaken. I didn't sign up to sit on the bench and be a cheerleader. I was clear about that when I signed, and I was told I would be on the field when I signed. When I was asking for reps in camp, I got none. I got lip service, though. We know what you can do. You don't need reps, but I know what my body needs in order for me to be in shape to compete, and I said so, but still 0 reps. Next thing he said was at the beginning of the season when it was clear I don't have a role anymore, I asked to be released. Throughout the season, I was told week in and week out I'd be used. I wasn't. I started getting frustrated about the whole thing. I asked to be dressed or taken. He said I asked to be dressed or take unnecessary practice reps if it wasn't going to play. And then he says that happened for a couple of weeks. Then we had a game that I got reps in practice and everyone assumed I would play. And I got to the stadium 4 hours earlier as usual and my locker was empty. Nobody said anything about me being inactivated. Just an empty locker. I asked to be released again. I was told no." He says again, a couple weeks later, they dressed me for the game, so I assumed I was going to play. I think this was the Detroit game. Then he says, and I get 0 reps, stood on the sideline the whole game. I asked to be released again. I was told no. Then a few days later, they released me. So maybe he's not talking about the Detroit game. I'm mistaken there. He says a few days later, he got released, and I was never told I would be brought back. It was, if we bring you back, be in shape. I cleared waivers. They didn't call. New England called. Also, to be clear, I asked Ryan if I came to see him in the hospital. I didn't help Bud Dupree or TJ. He puts a question mark. Then he says, ask TJ if I helped him. He didn't say anything about Bud Dupree. So then he says, maybe I didn't handle my frustration the best that I could have. If you haven't learned anything about me over the last 16 years, I'm a competitor to my core. I breathe competition. I live and breathe competition, guys. I do what it takes to keep my body and my mind ready to be on the field. I do it for me. I do it for my family. I do it for my team. And I do it for the fans. Nothing else to it. At the end of the day, they made a business decision, and so did I. All right, so that's what James Harrison had to say, guys. Here's my quick thoughts on it, man. Then we'll move past it. Listen, I don't hate James Harrison, nor do I hate the Steelers and their staff. But again, remember, early in the beginning of the week, everyone is going off saying how stupid the Steelers were, and Tomlin, blame Tomlin, blame Tomlin, blame Tomlin, fire Tomlin. Everybody's going off. And like I said, listen, man, we don't know the full story. So what did I get from that? The gist of it is James Harrison thought he was going to play, okay? What he didn't say here, and I know Jerry Dulac, shout outs to my man Tony who gave me some of this information. Jerry Dulac said that he was promised time. Now, we all know that Coach Tomlin never does that. That's not the way Coach Tomlin works. He never promises somebody an exact amount of time. Maybe Joey Porter did that. Who knows? But even Tomlin didn't say anything about being promised. He basically just said, I was told I would play. But the fact of the matter is, man, James Harrison has become a one-trick pony. Let's be fair. I love the guy. I still love the guy. I would never take away what he's done for the Steelers. He's the all-time sack leader. He has the best, one of the best plays, if not the best play in NFL history in the Super Bowl. Listen, I will always love James Harrison for that, okay? But at the end of the day, James Harrison was not the same player. He is a liability in the defense that we currently employ, where a lot of our guys are playing man coverages. Go look at some of TJ Watt's stats, and you can see how much this guy's in coverage, you know, with 5 pass deflections on a year, things like that. James Harrison can't do that anymore. You know, nor a couple years ago when he was, you know, at the time when he was going to retire, he didn't get a whole lot of people screaming and kicking his door down. It is what it is. His time is come and gone. He's a strong guy still, capable of making a play or two, but to be a starter or to get a significant amount of reps, that's not the case anymore. I'm more happy at the fact that TJ Watt kept him off the field, okay? But at the end of the day, man, listen, James Harrison said, look, I made my decision. They made their decision. He was asking to be released throughout the year. Now, I will address this real quick. Some people would say, well, why didn't we just let him go early? In my opinion, I don't know, but in my opinion, we still needed him for depth. You know, what if TJ got hurt? You know what I'm saying? I mean, would you really rely on Anthony Chickillo and Arthur Moats? No. You would probably have a guy like a James Harrison that could come in and give you something. But at this point, you know, week 16, when we released him, you know, it's the end of the season. You pretty much know what you got now. Anthony Chickillo probably can spell TJ Watt a little better in terms of the variety and the, you know, the versatility that we expect or we need our linebackers to do as far as the outside guys. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, Harrison asked to be released. He got what he wished. The Steelers, you know, some can say they mishandled the way they used them. I don't necessarily think that, but I don't fault anybody that does. It is what it is. Again, James Harrison will not be the reason the Steelers win or lose a Super Bowl, nor do I think he's going to be the reason the New England Patriots win or lose a Super Bowl. You know, it's clear that James Harrison doesn't really fit in the mold of a lot of teams at this point. And let me address the Patriots thing, and then we'll move on. Of course he goes to the Patriots. Now, it leaves a sore taste in our mouths as Steelers fans, but think about it. At 39, and you probably, this might be your last rodeo, right? You want to win a Super Bowl. If you didn't feel like you weren't going to get any playing time with the Steelers and you feel like you still can play, what other team out there that's going into the playoffs do you think gives you the best chance to win a Super Bowl? It's the New England Patriots. And also, other teams may not have requested his services. So there you have it. That's how I feel about it. I don't hate him. It is what it is. I hate to see him go to the Patriots after all of the bad blood, but it is what it is. It's business. He has to take care of his family. And if that man feel like he can still play, you got to let him go out there and do what he can do. And nor do I think the Steelers did a terrible job with managing James Harrison this year. I just don't. Go look at the way our defense has changed. I don't feel they did a bad job with that. All right? So here we go, man. Let's talk about keys to victory. Now, I'm a little conflicted with this, guys, because who's going to play? I don't even know who's going to play. So I really don't care, to be honest with you, whether they win or lose. You know, it's funny. If the Steelers lose, my prediction at the beginning of the year would have come true. I said we would probably go 12-4. We have a chance to go 13-3. If we win, but if we lose, we go 12-4 like I expected. It doesn't change anything. And Steelers went out there, took the, got their business taken care of, did their job. They got the first round bye. They're the second seed. I mean, New England has to lose in order for us to be the first seed. So it's almost like, whatever, man, win or lose. I'm not going to care if the Cleveland Browns win this game. Who cares? People are going to say, oh, you let that team 0-15 win. Who cares? Because I don't think starters are going to play the game that long. The only difference is it's not preseason. You have to dress 46 people. So it's going to be interesting how they handle that. You're going to get some starters on defense and offense. But I think this is the way I would position it. I would come out with the starters first quarter, maybe even the first half. Keep them fresh. Keep them hot. You don't want to sit them too long. Let them feel the game again, but you don't play them the whole game, but let them feel that game action because, again, we got a bye coming up, so you don't want any rust to kick in. So maybe play these guys first quarter, first half, then start pulling guys out as necessary. The guys I think you take out of the game, or maybe not even dress. Maybe Ben doesn't dress at all. But if he does, let him play a little bit. Let him play a quarter or two, then get him out of there. All right? Then, of course, let's sit Le'Veon Bell down because we don't want him to get injured, but also I want to see what Stephen Ridley can give us or Fitzgerald Toussaint because we're going to need somebody else to spell Le'Veon Bell. This is a perfect opportunity to let Stephen Ridley be the guy. Let him get his man on. If you want to sit Le'Veon Bell, you let him do his thing. As far as Roethlisberger, if you sit him, I actually want to see Joshua Dobbs. Let's let Joshua Dobbs get out there and do his thing. Because it clearly looks like Ben is not playing. Because, I've seen, interviews with Landry Jones and all that. But we know what Landry Jones can give us. He's going to be the backup quarterback, of course. But I think I would rather see Joshua Dobbs get some reps in a real life game, real live NFL game and see what he can do. Defensively. Oh, one other person offensively. I think you sit down Marquise Pouncey, which, Pouncey has been showing up on the injury report, so he's probably not going to play. So sounds like BJ Finney will probably be the center there. I'm not sure of anyone else. You got to play your receivers. I think you got to let Juju play. You might as well let Martavis Bryant play because Martavis, again, is still getting back into the groove. So give these guys some action. If you want to sit one of those guys, maybe Justin Hunter gets the start for maybe Juju or whoever you value more, which I think Juju would be the guy. But even with them, let them play a little bit, then get them out of the game. Get some other guys in there. All right, defensively, I think I would like to sit down Stephon Tuitt. I would also like to sit down Cam Hayward. Okay? And if possible, maybe Javon Hargrave. Or maybe you let Hargrave play a little bit. And actually, you know what? Maybe you let the first team play, again, first quarter, first half. Because we still need to prove that we can stop the run. Because that's one of my keys to victory. Let's see if we can stop this run as we go into the playoffs. Because the Cleveland Browns are going to try to run the ball. You would expect them to anyway. With Crowell and Duke Johnson. So I want to see if we can still stop the run because it looks like we sprung a leak a little bit in these last few weeks. But when you start pulling guys out, take out Cam Hayward, take out Stephon Tuitt, and play Joe Hayden a little bit too because, again, he's working himself back. Even though he played phenomenal against against Hopkins, I still would say let him play a little bit and then start pulling him out of there. And let's throw Cam Sutton out there. Get Cam some reps. I see Cody Sensabaugh is practicing again. We kind of know what he is. So maybe you split the time with him and Cam Sutton. I would say Cam Sutton because Cam Sutton has proven to play a little better than Cody. So I would say throw Cam Sutton out there. Let Artie Burns play. Artie Burns still needs some help. Some reps. And that's what I would do. Throw Cam Sutton out there, give him some reps. Keep Sean Davis out there. Keep Mike Mitchell out there. They need all the help in all of the reps that they can get. Because, yeah, safety play just hasn't been what we wanted it. All right? Now, as far as keys to victory, here's another guy on offense. Let's sit Vance McDonald down, too. Maybe play him early, but get him out of there. We don't want Vance McDonald with any injuries going into the playoffs because we see what that man can be for us as well. More than a security blanket for Ben. He's a tight end that actually can make it happen after the catch. All right? So that's it, man. I feel like I don't know what Tomlin's going to do. I think I'm getting a few hints just looking at, the reports and things like that. But he says he's going to play to win. He always says that. But I think even if you put all the starters out there, like Cowell used to say, hey, starters start. Even if you put them out there, I think you start pulling them out a little early. And maybe you scoreboard watch a little bit, but come on, man. The chances of the Jets really winning that game, I don't know. But hey, let's be real. If for whatever reason at halftime it looks like the Jets got a big lead on the Patriots, hey, maybe you keep the starters out there a little longer and try to win that game. You know what I mean? But I would come into this game, again, play the starters a little bit, then start pulling them out. And, win or lose, who cares, especially if you're playing mostly backup guys like in your key positions. The Steelers have clinched that bye, and it is what it is. I don't really care about this being a win or loss, to be honest with you. All right? Now, the keys to victory, I think, is this. Stop the run. Prove that you can stop the run. That's going to be key going into the playoffs. Offensively, run the football. Because, again, I know we can run the football, but let's run the football with a guy like Stephen Ridley and see what we really have in a backup. You know what I mean? Clock management, run the football, see what we can do there. Whether it's Landry Jones or Joshua Dobbs, I don't really care to see what we have in the pass game. We already know what the pass game is when Ben Roethlisberger is in there and all of our horses are on the field. We already know that. I would say offensively, let's see if we can pound the rock with the second unit because we're going to need that. Like I said, go ahead, try to win the game. Take a few shots here and there. Again, if Landry Jones is in there, why not let him pass a little bit? Just to see if he's improved at all. But outside of that, offensively, just run the football. Possess the ball, time of possession, score touchdowns when you get down there, and, get off the field with a win. Defensively, once again, stop the run because we need to prove to ourselves that we can do that. So if Tomlin puts out the first team, I need to see that. So I'm not confident with that run defense right now. Outside of that, pay a little bit of attention to Josh Gordon. I think we have an opportunity, man, for our DBs to get some interceptions in this game or at least some pass breakups because if you watch Deshaun Kaiser, ever since Josh Gordon has been back in the game, he kind of keys on him. He really focuses on Josh Gordon. Like, that's his go-to. So I think the corners will have an opportunity to read their eyes, read his eyes, so to speak, and get in the right position. And, let's also see what kind of pressure we can continue to get. With 4 guys on the field. And it would be great to see backup players allowing us to get pressure. I'd like to see Anthony Chickillo get some burn as well since Harrison is no longer there. I'd like to see Anthony Chickillo get off. Not really confident in Arthur Moats anymore. And the middle linebackers. We cannot forget that. Play Sean Spence the entire game. Work in L.J. Fort as well. And Metakevich. But give Sean Spence the majority of the snaps because it looks like he's going to be the guy. He started over Metakevich last week, even though Metakevich was healthy. Play these guys until they can't play no more because they need as much rep time as possible, especially Sean Spence. All right, so that's all I got, man. Let me come back to you guys and see what y'all got here. I know you got a few comments, so I'll answer a couple things here, and then we'll be out of here. What up, Jordan? What's good, Marshall? Daryl Jones says, thanks for coming to the Pats, home of the champions. Now give us your Steelers secrets. Okay. All right, Daryl Jones. Funny how you Pat fans always find your way in here. Phillips Marcus says, what's up, Sim? Ready for knowledge, my brother? All right, man. I appreciate it. I hope I gave you some knowledge. Tyrese Man says, love your show. Hey, I love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys supporting me, man. Without y'all, I wouldn't even do this thing. My boy Tony in the house. Kenya Wright says, do we need an update on Harrison? Kind of speaks for itself. Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. But, you know, people been asking me, man. Trust me, man. A lot of the stuff that I talk about, people have asked. You know, send me DMs and stuff like that. Hey, man, can you talk on this? Can you talk on that? But I'm with you. We really don't need to know much about that either. Tony says, hey, can you talk about anything about Steelers 50 million times updates, anything? He can talk for 2 hours. Yeah, I know what Tony was saying. Look, let me address this. Tony always laughs because I usually tell you guys, hey, man, I hope I'm not taking too long or whatever. And Tony was like, listen, man, we all Steelers fans here. You could talk for 2 hours, and I don't think any of us would care. So what I'm going to stop doing, on the recommendation of my brother Tony, I'm not going to say how long it's going to be anymore. I'm just going to get on here and talk. You know, if I have a time limit, of course, I'll try to keep it within that. But if I got time to talk, I'll just talk, man. I'm not sure how to pronounce my man's name here, so I won't butcher it. But he say, hey, let Pats have him. What Pats don't understand is refs look at him as a headhunter, which can go against the Pats. You know, 15 yards, there's 15 yards, and they can be a difference maker. You know what? You got a good point there. You have a very good point there. So I see Tony and my man Kenyon was going back and forth a little bit there. But it's all love. It's all love. Kenyon says our linebackers have to be able to cover now. That was long overdue. You're right. Again, man, go check out TJ Watt's stats. I was listening to the Terrible podcast today, man, and Dave said something. I can't remember the actual stats, but they were basically saying that he was one of the only linebackers in the league, I think, that has these amount of numbers, like X amount of catches, X amount of tackles, I want to say sacks, pass defenses, and an interception. And it just goes to show you that he's in coverage a lot. Like, if you go back and look at a lot of the film, this dude is in coverage a lot. He was even playing underneath coverage against DeAndre Hopkins last week. And think about the play he made against Jordy Nelson. James Harrison can't do that. And that's why I don't blame the coaches and the coaching staff. Maybe, you know, stringing him along, people could argue that. But at the end of the day, guys, it's a roster decision. You keep him there because you just never know. What if one of those guys in front of him get hurt? We don't have a lot of depth at outside linebackers. So I get why they kept him there. And it, you know, it's unfortunate that he didn't get to play. And, you know, if you're him, but it is what it is, man. You know, let's see. My man says, boy, it's going to be bad, real bad if the Steelers win the Super Bowl and he's sitting there with nothing. So what are you going to say? Yeah, you're right, man. All right, so I'll address a couple more of these, man. I'm about to head out here in a moment, guys, so I got to roll. Marquis Spencer says, how far you believe we could make it in the playoff? Listen, if the Steelers tighten up the defense, another thing Dave was saying on the Terrible podcast today, he was quoting some stats, and he was showing how the pass differential and net yards and all that has what it was with Joe Hayden and without Joe Hayden. I agree with him. If the defense can get back to what we were, like, you know, midpoint of the season, and we can contain the run, Steelers can go all the way. I really believe it. I really believe that the Steelers can beat any team in the AFC, including the Patriots. We showed it. We showed it when we played them. You know, regardless of how the call went at the end, and Bob Labriola, I'm going to test some of you guys' knowledge. Y'all tell me who Bob Labriola is. But Bob Labriola likes to call that the River Ron. He likes to call it the River Ron play because, you know, they went to him and he overturned the touchdown. I found that to be funny. But regardless of that, I mean, just look at how that game went. The Steelers were right in that game and had a ton of opportunities to win it. If the Steelers offense stays on the field for the last 3 minutes and 56 seconds, they get a win. If Sean Davis intercepts the deflection on that game-winning drive by the Patriots, they get a win. If the touchdown is not overturned, they get a win. Perhaps if Ben connects to Eli Rogers, puts it out a little bit further in front of him, and he catches it, they get a win. I mean, it's a whole lot of ways that they had the opportunity to win. So just take the touchdown away, take that out of the equation. We saw that the Steelers can play with them. With Joe Hayden back in the lineup, it will allow some more coverage techniques that we probably can, you know, put out there to try to contain Gronk the best we can. And that's all you can do is try to contain the guy. Let's see. What else did you guys say? I don't think so either, man. I don't think Shazier, I don't know. It's not looking good as far as his football career. I'm optimistic that, you know, he'll recover and he'll walk again, but you got to weigh so many factors, man. Like, does he still want to play? You know, that's a tough thing. My man's 25 years old, man. You know, that's a tough thing to consider. Again, as a man, You know, he has a beautiful fiance, young child. I'm only 25. I've made some money. I don't know. You know, that's a scary, scary injury. And it's not that you would be afraid to play. It's just that if you only play one way, Ryan Shazier plays with his speed and speed only. So if he can't still play like that and be like a, you know, a cannonball, like shot out of a cannon, full speed ahead, he might not have the same desire. All right, so that's about it. That's about it. Yeah, Tony, I know everybody don't be knowing, man. They don't know all these people, man. You know, we are extreme Steelers fans. We know everybody on the staff. All right, so that's it, man. Last thing I'm going to comment on, Ironhead Villalobos just said, I think it's dumb how people say that Harrison is going to give up the playbook. In that case, we had already signed Ridley. Yeah, man, I think a lot of that stuff, you know, it's just fan talk. It's just fan talk. In Kenya, now, Bob is a little more than a beat writer. He actually works for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he is one of the hosts on SteelersLive.com and also Agree to Disagree. So he's an actual Steelers staff member. All right, man, so that's going to do it. We're going to wrap this thing up, man. I hope you guys have a great and happy new year. Nice weekend. Be safe out there, man. You know, have a good time, but be very safe, guys. Please be safe, because you always hear about something crazy on New Year's. If you're going to drink responsibly. And, you know, if you're going to go out, keep your eyes open, man. And, you know, just be safe. All right. So, guys, we'll come back on Tuesday. We'll talk about whatever transpires in this Browns game. Hey, maybe by some miracle, we'll be talking about the Steelers having home field advantage. We'll see. But either way, it should be very interesting. Again, you guys be safe. I'll catch you guys on Tuesday. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Cut the notifications on so you're fully aware of new videos. And I promise, guys, it'll never hurt you to hit that like button. And I just remembered, I have to always say this, guys. If you are here for things outside of Steelers, you know, I do gaming and things like that. So check out some of that content. And if you like that, go ahead and subscribe for that as well. All right, so that's going to do it. I'll catch you guys later. Be easy. Here we go, Steelers. Peace.